are ready, okay? I know the commander is going to be here, okay? Because she got this, okay? So, everyone, I'm here with Christy Rutherford, okay? She is a global executive advisor, burnout expert, and the founder and CEO of Vision Finder International, where she works with founders, executives, and family offices to restore sustainable performance without sacrificing health, relationships, or clarity. Okay? Christy is a former U.S. Coast Guard commander, okay, and the 13th African American woman to reach that rank. Okay, she brings deep operational leadership experience to her work in executive coaching, leadership development, and organizational resilience. Okay? Her work focuses on identifying and interrupting the hidden patterns that drive burnout, disengagement, and leadership failure using proprietary formworks designed to reset performance before cultures collapse. Over the past decade, she has supported hundreds of leaders across more than 20 countries, helping generate measurable gains in performance, revenue, and personal well being. Her background spans military command, congressional service, executive education, and nationally recognized thought leadership. I am so honored today to have Christy Rutherford here to talk to us about how to get our mind right and our bag right. Okay?
You're so funny.
honored.
You'd be like, that might be the longest bio ever, but that was my short bio. You'd be like, we're gonna be here all day. It's over. Podcast is over. It's an hour.
Okay? Okay? Yes,
All right.
I'm honored
I'm excited to be here to share this insight with y'all. I'm excited for the questions. Now that we're here, we on. Can you hear me? You can hear me? Hold
Yes,
on.
ma'am. I hear you loud and
Oh,
clear.
okay. I got 100 microphones.
Okay. So, can you talk to us about your journey and how you got from there to here?
Oh, okay. Well, one, I'm a high achiever. I like to win, Margaret, and everybody's on the line. I like to win, and here's the thing about winning. And I was just making a video. People who are addicted to proving people wrong. We started proving people wrong because we love it. How many of y'all put me in the chat? If y'all can, I don't know, do a thumbs up or raise your hand or whatever going on in Substack. I'm not here that often, but typically people who are addicted to proving people wrong at work, we started proving people wrong long before we got a job, right? We're the weirdos of our family. We're the outcasts of our families. We came here to break generational patterns, and we're always like the weirdo of the family. And so we're conditioned to prove people wrong because we really just want to be a greater version of ourselves, and that's misunderstood. And so I ended up, you know, proving my family wrong, being one of the first people in my family to go to college. And so it's like, with breaking patterns long before I got a job. Now you get a job, and then they tell you that you don't belong here because you're Black and you're a woman. And it's like, okay, now I got to prove the next set of people wrong. And so doing that for 37 years led to my almost early demise. And so I ended up burning out, stage 12, full mental collapse, where it took me 4 years to recover mentally and 7 years to recover financially. And so once I started to see that I was creating a lot of the challenges that I was stuck in, I was addicted to proving people wrong. I was the one who was, always doing too much and going too far and mentoring people and, getting the awards and getting all the degrees and never really feeling successful. Like I almost literally worked myself to death. And so that's a part of who I am. And once I learned that, and then I started to see that a lot of high achievers had the exact same challenges as me. Like, and we don't talk to each other because we're too busy working, right? And once I started to see people in different industries and, you know, there's a nurse down the road doing the exact same thing. There's a lawyer doing the exact same thing as me. There's somebody who works in the federal government that's doing the exact same thing as me. Is like, oh, we're all like this. So now how can I assist with what I've learned about myself and pulling myself back together again, and then teach it to other leaders. And so that's what I've done. I only work with high achievers and leaders because we crazy and we need the most help.
Okay. Many of us
We are
don't.
crazies. We need the most help. We won't tell nobody, and nobody care. Nobody care when Superwoman get in trouble. Like, who's she gonna call?
If you go to them, they're gonna say, "Oh, we got Houston, we got a problem."
Well, no, what happens is typically what happens is whenever you admit that you're in trouble, people don't hear you because you're their superhero. And you know, who does the superhero call when they're in trouble is like they don't hear you. They only hear the brand that you created. They don't hear the suffering soul. So we create these, you know, this almost loop that we get caught in, and of saving people and giving all and giving everything to everybody else, and we don't leave anything for ourselves. And so when we get in trouble, you know, who could Kate Spade call when she was in trouble, right? Like nobody heard her. Kate, like you got money, you can buy another husband. Who does, you know, Twitch, the dancer, you know, maybe he didn't want to dance no more. Like who can he call? Well, you have no reason to be miserable. Look at your family. You know, you're living your dreams and you have money and you're on Ellen. And at a certain point, that's not enough. So when we get in trouble and our childhood catches up with us and we start to suffer more than we um want to, nobody hears the suffering soul. They only see the brand that we created. So that's what I do.
Well, talk to us about identity, because we know from time we get out of the womb, you know, we have all these different identities, roles, titles, you know, and then here comes the expectations. So, you know, and then
So
put on. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Finish your question because I'm gonna answer the right question.
Well, because and then on top of that, then you got all these other things, life stresses, you know, all the chaos and everything that we have to deal with on a daily basis as well. So,
Well, the challenge that happens when we're born, like we're born knowing who we want to be, right? Kids know how they want to feel. We are connected with ourselves. We have unconditional love for ourselves. We're not comparing our feet to the baby's feet. We're not comparing our ankles to the baby's ankles. You know, babies have patches of hair on their head. They're not comparing their hair to the next kid's hair, right? Babies are content, and babies don't really require that much. And if they're uncomfortable, like they have the pamper on where they can actually feel the pee, like they want it changed, and they will express through crying because they don't have the language yet, right? Through crying that they're uncomfortable. If they're hungry, they will let you know that they're hungry. If they want to feel love, that they will make you feel love. But here's the thing, Margaret, and to the listeners, they don't require to be drained, right? Like, you know, some people who um require other people to love them and it's an endless hole for them to feel love. Babies don't need that much attention to feel love. They want to drop a do you. And once they feel it, you can put them back down and go on about your business. They don't require you to hold them for 24 hours. And so it's the environment that we grow up in. It's the childhoods that we have. It's the, you know, the way that our parents feel about themselves. And so we look at our parents like they're supposed to have it all together. Our parents are two broken people that got together and had broken children. And once you start to, you know, and here's the thing. I've talked to people who've had like some of the craziest childhoods where either their father was abusive to their mom, their father was abusive to them. The dads and the moms they shape the house, but the father really shapes the house. You know, the dad walked out, or the dad told them that they had to be the best, or the dad told them that they were special, or the dad, you know, gave them everything that they needed and sent them to private school. So now perfectionism is their trauma. So we all got something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you can't tell that child who grew up in private school, the black kid who went to the private school, the Catholic private school that their parents probably paid $30,000 a year for, and they were the only two black kids out of everybody else, that their trauma isn't as great. And I think about how we compare our stories to other people's stories, trying to figure out who has the worst story and then validating somebody's story. Well, your story is your story. Like, you traumatized, your dad worked all the time and you ain't never get to see him. Let's honor that trauma. Let's move through that. Right. So anyway, so that's the childhood. And so now it's like, all right, well, how does your childhood continue to now show up as an adult? And, women who grew up being a middle kid, feeling like they were ignored, don't really, feel like they're being mentored and sponsored at work. Women who grew up and they ended up becoming like a teenage mom, and they learn how to play safe, and they learn how to play small. They get stuck in middle management because they need a check, and not realizing that the baby 30, right? And so people don't take risks to ask for a raise, and they don't ask for the promotion because they need the money. And women who were teenage moms aren't going to make a lot of ripples because they need the money. And so you get stuck in this safeness, and then you get laid off from safe because you're not leveling up, and you're better than your boss's 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 boss. So you're creating that scenario. And men who grew up being told that nothing was ever good enough, or, they watched their moms being abused. So in their mind, they're like, when I get married, I'm gonna do it different. But then their different is also dysfunctional. So anyway, so that's what we do. So once we start with where you are, right? Like, what's your current problem? And then we map that back to, how did that start in your childhood? And then we fix that root. Once we get the root, it almost rewrites the script for your whole life, because you'd be like, oh my God, they weren't the problem. This one scenario that I had is the problem. And when you fix that and you heal that and you forgive that, everything changes.
You're right, because all of our lives we keep replaying that tape over and over and over again, and we need to sever that.
Well, you got to figure out what it is first. You got to figure out
Of course.
what the tape is, and then non-judgmentally look at, oh my God. Right? Like, that's what my client did. Oh my God. Like, it was me. So yeah, my boss was a psychopath, right? And he did harass me, but my boss also reminded me of how my father talked to me, which was, nothing was ever good enough. So he triggered me more than he triggered other people.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
people would be like, Christy, you're doing too much. And I'm almost working myself to death. That's because I was afraid of failure and afraid of failing in front of anybody, and definitely in front of my family. So that drove me to achieve high levels of success, but it also almost put me in my grave. So that's the thing. Like, what's driving you? What and what's the mouse behind the wheel, right? And then once you learn that, then you shift from working in pain and into passion. Because a lot of us are doing work, and we've reached where we wanted to be, and we got the house and the car, and we go to Paris, and we party in Miami, and we popping bottles over here, and we got a new car every couple of years, and we got the purses and the necklaces and all the things that they say we couldn't get, and we miserable and we lying, and we're suffering in our success that you can't now leave because you created a lifestyle, a bougie lifestyle around this income, and now you feel trapped. And then that's a whole different cycle. So,
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I had the same uh, issue with my father, always trying to live up to his expectations. He was
mhm.
put up on this pedestal. My father, who was a Baptist minister, also narcissist and bipolar. So having to come from that type of background, and then being abandoned by my mother. So I have a mother wound and a father wound. So yeah, and then all my previous partners were narcissists.
You attracted
A
your
lot
dad.
of, huh? Yeah, insane.
You
And
attracted your
I'm
dad
like, oh my God. Yeah. And so, and a lot of my bosses were too. Okay.
you attracted your dad
Um, but the thing of it is, the ones I had the most problem with, majority of them was women. Okay.
because you attracted your mom. and feeling abandoned and harassed. That was you. I don't know if you want me to unpack your stuff on this line, but go ahead. I'm gonna let
No,
that go.
you can go. No, you can go ahead and unlock it, because I've been doing that
That
as
wasn't
well.
that wasn't them. So if you came here, Margaret, and everybody that's on this line, typically people who watch podcasts and engage in personal development and they ain't over there talking about what Diddy did, came here to break generational patterns for your family. God is like, this is why the children of Israel were stuck in the desert for 40 years and never got into the promised land. It's because they kept going, God kept giving them test after test after test. So if you have something that continuously shows up in your life, the goal is to heal it and not get stuck in it. Right?
Yes.
Like God keeps showing you, you need to forgive your father. First boss, boom, you ain't forgave him, you quit. Second boss, boom, narcissist. Guys like, you gonna forgive your dad? You like, nope, I'm still gonna carry the same story. Boom, fourth ball, fifth ball, sixth ball, 12th ball, 20th ball, right? Like, so it's like, and then resolving your mom and forgiving her for abandoning you, for they know not what they do. Forgive them, Lord. Create in me, Lord, a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. Right? Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. God's like, you gonna forgive your mama? Let me show you a woman that you need to forgive. You be like, that bitch? Okay, boom. Next woman. That hoe? Okay, next woman. Boom. So if the same scenarios keep showing up in your life, Moses, God says, spake the rock and not the people. Anyway, I like to bring scripture into that, but it's like that. So
It's
that's
all
why.
good.
So until you forgive, everything that you want is on the other side of you forgiving. Everything that you want, all the provision that you want to be unlocked, because you can't outrun God's provision. All the freedom that you want and the joy that you want and your ability to be able to be greater for other people as you show up whole and showing them the path to wholeness and to freedom is banking on you. God is waiting on you. Somehow you got on my phone, invited me to this call, this podcast, and I'm beating you in the head on your own podcast to tell you to forgive your mama and your daddy so God can unlock the provision that's waiting for you.
Ooh. Well, I still got a lot of forgiving too. That's including my family. So that's
Forgiveness
a lot
tastes
of
like that.
forgiving.
No, you ain't. Forgiveness is like that. You think it's gonna take you putting palm ash on your forehead and wearing praying in tongues and wearing a 20-pound gold chain cross on your neck with Jesus, like locked up. Forgiveness is, I forgive my dad for he know not what he did. Because clearly he had a childhood that created the narcissism, right? I forgive my mama. Maybe she wasn't equipped to manage me. Maybe she wasn't equipped. And you don't know what would have happened had she kept you. You might have been crazy and over there, 100 kids laying in the ditch somewhere. Had she not abandoned you? How you know your life would have been better had she stayed? Maybe she did you a favor. You still alive. Clearly, you got money. You got some Apple AirPods in your ear, right? You got a gold chain on your clothes. You got your own house. You had a career, right? How you know that your life would have been better had she stayed? Maybe God did you a favor and moved her out the way.
Okay. This is what we need. We need somebody to
That's
hold us
that's what we do over
accountable.
here.
We need to hold us accountable. Okay. That's how we learn and how we grow. But you know what, Christy, saying forgiveness, that's one thing, but actually being able to do it. I said I forgave, but
No,
apparently
you
I
didn't,
didn't.
because you still mad.
Okay.
If forgiveness is, I forgive you and I go free, I'm gonna lay this problem on the altar. God, help me heal my heart. Forgiveness is, I'm not mad about what they did. I can reconcile the books. And this is what I want everybody on this line to do. I wish I was recording this and getting this tape myself, like the preacher say. I want y'all to write down assets, liabilities, and draw a line on a piece of paper. Write down your liabilities on one side. Y'all can start with them. What are the liabilities for whatever happened in your life? And I want you to write down your assets, because what Napoleon Hill says is, he says, for every seed of adversity, there's an equivalent or greater seed of benefit. For every seed of adversity, there's an equivalent or greater seed of benefit. And we're so focused on what the liabilities are, we don't see what we've got. And I had a client, Margaret, who her mom abandoned her, and I actually drew it out on my podcast, where she's the product of the great uh of the great uncle. So the great aunt invited her niece into the house to live with them, and then the aunt ended up making the teenager break up with her boyfriend, so she smashed her husband and got pregnant with my client, who was a teenager at the time. The mom left because the mom got married at 23, so the mom was 17 when she had the baby. Right, my client was the baby. The mom got married at 23 to an Egyptian guy. He was like, "Hey man, I ain't trying to raise this baby. This is whatever, and we're gonna leave." So they moved to Egypt, left her with her grandparents. The great aunt was
Oh.
like, "You know what? I want to get my husband back. Hey, let's raise this baby together." Right? So got the husband back, but beat her the whole time. Right? Like abused her because it reminded her, this is the illegitimate kid of my great niece. Does that make sense? That my husband smashed. So every time she saw her, she would mentally, physically, and emotionally abuse my client. Now, here's the thing. Now my client is 38, high school diploma, making $200,000 a year. So we have to start with her being aggressive and going off. So anytime that she felt silenced or minimized, so we start with the trigger. What's your trigger? I want to make more money. What's stopping me? Wait, you got a high school diploma, you make $200,000 a year. But anytime that she feels like she's being silenced or minimized because of what her aunt did to her, she would set it off, right? Which get aggressive, which creates problems at work. You're an aggressive Black woman. But once we got to, okay, now this is your childhood. You can't change that. There is nothing that you can do. Ain't nothing that your mama can say if she's still here. There's nothing that your dad can say, right? Exactly. You holding on to something that she can't apologize because she ain't here no more. Once she started to like, okay, now I got a high school, I make $200,000 a year. I know women who got PhDs who don't make $200,000 a year, right?
Yeah, right.
So her being silenced gave her the ability to ask. So as an adult, she will ask. So she will ask for her money. That's one. She's the most successful person on her mom's side. Her mom had 3 more kids. She's more successful than them 3 kids. And she's more successful than the 5 kids that her dad had. She's the most successful of them all because of her challenges, because of the adversity, not in spite of. Does that make sense? So,
Yes.
So I told her, relieve yourself of that story. What would have happened if your mama raised you? You saw what happened in your siblings. What would have happened if you would have stayed with your great aunt and your uncle? You saw it in them. Chart your own path. Free yourself from yourself and go out there and get this money. Margaret.
I want it. Okay. My problem was because of all these things, it was the fear of being seen because of self-sabotage.
Right. You can't change that. What you gonna do today though? What you gonna do today? That's the question. It's like you can't change none of that. Now with this awareness, what you gonna do? Right? Because the truth shall set you free. People talking about like, the 2016 challenge. Man, y'all can't build y'all life on no bricks from 2016. What are y'all talking about? 10 years ago. If you're the same person 10 years ago, my niece wasn't even born, who's 7 going on 37. She wasn't even like this kid came in 7 years ago as a baby who didn't talk. Right? In 7 years, she goes from a baby who don't talk to crawling to walking to playing with baby dolls. So now she's in school and she's brilliant and she's like, that's 7 years. Like she's grown exponentially in the past 7 years. If we ain't changed in the past 10, we're in trouble. If we trying to talk about, let me go back to 2016, that's insane to me. But anyway, ain't you supposed to be asking me some podcast question, or we're just gonna beat you in the head on your podcast? I'm cool with whatever you want. I come with the smoke. Here's the thing.
That's why I contacted you.
Y'all can't change anything that happened yesterday. I can't change what I had for breakfast today. Right? And we have to be able to move forward based on who we want to be. And I think, when I start to think about who I want to be in, 2025. And so I always ask people, who do y'all want to be in 2030? How do you want to arrive at 2030? And so we're so focused on, if you think about driving a car, if you drive your car looking through the rearview mirror of your past, you're always going to end up in a ditch. and your past is this big, right? It's this big. Rearview mirror is this big. The windshield is expansive. The future in front of you, where you going, is expansive and it's huge. The rearview mirror this big, and you driving your car looking through the rearview mirror, wondering what shoulda, woulda, coulda. You can't do nothing about what happened. Nothing. You can't. I can't do nothing about me trying to figure out how to get on this link at 2:59. All right. But it's like, what do I have in this moment today? I woke up, praise the Lord, with all, like, got out of bed unassisted. I can walk, I can talk, and anything past that. I'm healthy mentally, physically, emotionally. Like anything past that is like a miracle. But y'all want something else, right? But if I had the car, if I had the house, if I had more money, y'all was saying that when you made $40,000, then it's $50,000, then $100,000, then $200,000. You can have $8 million and never have enough. And if you got the $8 million, y'all know lottery winners go broke in 5 years. It's like you get it, but you didn't become it. So you got the $8 million, and now you're terrified because to fall from $100,000 to zero ain't that hard. The terror of falling from $8 million to going broke because you got a broken and a broke mindset. You never changed your mindset. So we're always praying for more. But Solomon said, "In all thy getting, get understanding." Like, get understanding of why am I showing up the way that I do? Get understanding of why am I triggered the way that I do? Get understanding of, how can I forgive my family? And forgiveness is like that. And your resistance to hold on to it blocks your money. If y'all really understood that unforgiveness blocks your money, because that's a channel of energy that's being stored up. Unforgiveness creates medical conditions. Unforgiveness creates arthritis. Unforgiveness creates headaches. It creates migraines. It creates neck pain. All these things, back pain, leg pain, my knee hurt, my elbow hurt, right? All the things that y'all take a medication for. Unforgiveness is blocking your blessings. And when you own that, I had somebody cuss me out last week.
What?
Unbothered. I got work to do, baby. Unbothered. and we were friends. 30 minutes. I ain't listened to it for 30 minutes, but she cussed for 30 minutes. I'm unbothered, right? And it's because I know that I have work to do. I know that my goal is to be here to be greater, not just for myself, but for my family and for generations to come. I know that I'm here to create generational wealth. I know that I'm here to command full value for the value that I put out into the world. I want to build schools. I want to build international learning development centers for people in my family. I want to build schools for people in my family, but the community would benefit. I want to build, assisted living facilities for my family so they're not being abused by their raggedy children and their grandchildren. I got work to do, Margaret. I ain't got time to be bogged down emotionally, physically mad about what somebody did. I forgive you, Lord, for not what you do, or maybe you know what you did, but I'm okay with that because I have work to do. I have time to be emotionally scarred when I'm focused on why I'm here and the work that I came here to do. So who do y'all want to be in 2030? What vision do you have for your life? And then who do you need to be today to be who you see in 2030? Live by the projection of who you want to be and how you want to show up and what you want to have. Live from that. Live from the vision of your future self. And then it's like, what decisions does my present self need to make in order to be my future self? And so if my future self is super wealthy, right? Not just to be glossing and flossing. That's not my goal to get rich only, but I will because I'm bougie. But it's like, so I can serve humanity on a greater level, I need to stay open. I need to keep my heart open. I need to keep my energy open. And money blocks and anger blocks my blessings. So I ain't mad. I forgive fast, baby, just like that. You cuss me out, as long as you put your hands on me. Um, you know. So that's how fast I forgive. Unbothered. Be like this. Okay. I'm led by vision. Does anybody have any questions on the line?
Let me see.
They don't have no questions. Y'all, we can ask them if they have questions. But go ahead. What questions do you have, Margaret? Ain't nobody asked a question yet. Margaret getting beat in the head. It's a live coaching session. Apparently you.
It's all good. Oh, it's all good. Tough love. Talk to us about sustainability, okay? Because you worked on helping people with burnout, but sustainability is very important.
So one, we ain't talk about burnout. Burnout is repeated patterns showing up of you over delivering when it doesn't require all that. Right?
All right.
Burnout is really, people think that burnout is measured in time. Right? Burnout, y'all burn out this year, y'all burn out last year, y'all burn out in 2022, y'all burn out in 2020. Burnout is actually measured in stages. There are 12 stages of burnout. And so, and we don't know that. Like, I didn't know that till I started to teach it. And I was like, let me go look at this thing. I know I fell apart mentally. So what I've learned is, we're all just stressed out, even before 2020. And so a lot of people were in the advanced stages of burnout coming into 2020. And so now the world, we're going to wait for 2021 for things to get back to normal. And the SHIT hits the fan all day, every day. It's just insane. And so we've normalized burnout. We've normalized anxiety. We call it high function anxiety. Y'all hear about this stuff in 2015, 2016. We call it high functioning depression. We call it, we're normalizing anxiety. Like we're normalizing, what do they call it? Mental health. Uh,
Not
they
PT,
call it
not complex PTSD.
a mental health crisis. No, a mental health crisis.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So it's like we're normalizing these mental health crises in people. It's all preventable if you just own, I'm tired, right? Now, what do you need to do to be able to unpack that? Let's talk about how to unpack burnout. It's 3 things that I want y'all to do. Now, this is work for 300 people in 20 different countries, 17 nationalities in the U.S., and 15 different industries. Work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Meditate 5 minutes 3 times a week, and then sleep 8 hours 3 times a week, right? I ain't say 7. I just said 3. High achievers like to do 7. Be lying. Y'all be lying. It's just 3. Don't go for 5 or 7. Just if we can we box checkers. Meditate 5 minutes 3 times a week. Work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Sleep 8 hours 3 times a week. And I get so much pushback on that stuff. Like it's impossible for me to take care of myself because I got stuff to do. Well, you're doing it and you're crazy, right? And you're burning out. And all of the things that I talk about are free because once I ran into a brick wall doing 150 miles an hour and lost everything. So once I lost my mind, I couldn't make no money because I'm incapable of rational thought. I'm like, I could not create a deep thought sentence for a year. Right. Once I burned out, that's called stage 12 mental collapse, catastrophic burnout. Like I had to lose everything before I stopped because high achievers who are running, we don't know how to stop. High achievers who are doing, we don't know how to stop. High achievers who are performing, we don't know how to stop. So once one tire blew, I got 3 tires. 2 tires gone. Boom. 3rd tire. Boom. 4th tire. I'm riding on the rotors. I got fires, like just shooting everyone on the car until the car exploded. I was not going to stop. Like, I'm just trying to ride. Everything that I talk about with burnout is free because once I lost my mind, I couldn't make any money and I blew through my $100,000 savings and I ended up in my brother's house in South Carolina with nothing. And I couldn't blame my boss anymore. I couldn't blame anybody anymore. And I could systematically see how I created my self-destruction. And then once I started talking to other people, I just be like, y'all right behind me. Now, that's one. Let me drink some water. I thought this was gonna be an easy podcast, but I love it. So once I put myself back together again with those 3 habits, listening to something positive. Once I started listening and studying myself, I could see how I was the problem. Once I stopped getting degrees to study things that are external to me and started to look at myself, once I stopped paying attention to what Beyonce and Jay-Z was going through and started looking at what Christy was going through, once I stopped looking at external things as the reason for why I was like that, I started looking internally. Once I started to own that I came here to break generational patterns for my family, it made me feel less guilty for being the weirdo. I own my assignment. So once I left, what I do now, my morning routine is now become my normal. Right? Like it's normal for me to take care of myself. But if I can get y'all to do the three things, the three habits that I just talked about, then that becomes your normal. I gotta work out. I work out 5 days a week. I like to eat cookies. It makes me happy. Right? I meditate probably 3 to 5 times a week. Right? If I'm traveling, I gotta stick it in somewhere. And I always get my sleep because I'm a little aggressive and I'm crazy and I'm a Leo and I'm a former military officer. So I have to control my power. God didn't make me weak. God didn't make me passive. He made me, this is who I am. So it's like, how do I now manage my power? Not necessarily to chest bump people, not necessarily to intimidate people. Is how can I be the best version of myself, but also know that I am powerful and it is my responsibility to maintain this and try to keep it positive and not go to the dark. So that's sustainability. Sustainability is, people think sustainability is through doing things. Sustainability is actually letting stuff go. Sustainability is stop running from your past and forgive your family, right? Sustainability is I'm not dragging the things from my past around with me, dancing in the Michael Jackson video like Thriller with all the skeletons that I refuse to acknowledge are there. It's like, I can let this thing go or I can unpack it. No, y'all can shoulda, woulda, coulda, all you want to, but you can't change nothing that happened yesterday. You can't change it 10 years ago. You can't change it 15 years ago. Just like I can't change it. I lay it on the altar and I'm gonna leave it there. Now y'all may have to lay it on the altar and then you come back and pick it up and you try to fix it. It won't work. And you lay it on the altar again. You try to lay, and then one day you're gonna lay it on the altar. You're gonna see God will take care of it like that.
That's right.
So
We have to leave it there, and when we go back and pick it up. You're right. Absolutely. Now, talk to us about this self-trust, okay? Because if we don't trust ourselves, that's a big problem.
So self-trust comes into effect when you learn. Let me show y'all my books that I got. Did I show you my books? Do I have them in my? Let's see. This is my favorite book. They're all my favorite books, but this one, Trigger Point. It's on Amazon. Trigger Point is on Amazon. Leading with self-awareness, and then 90 Days of Burnout Recovery. So I so it's a trilogy. They all look alike. So I wrote these books in 2016. I wrote this one in 2020. Then I proved the information with 300 people from 20 countries, right? 300 leaders recover from the advanced stages of burnout. Anxiety and depression reversed for 245 reverse stress-related medical conditions, high blood pressure, anxiety, diabetes, lupus, fibromyalgia. One of my clients was on a walker for 3 months. She got up that walking. She was on a walker for 3 years. She was 43. She forgave her mama. She was off that walk in 6 weeks. Right. Renegade. One of my clients is on the liver transplant list. She forgave her daddy. She off the liver transplant list. Y'all have no idea how much unforgiveness ravages your body. And so once I proved the information, I just republished the books. This is actually my $16,000 program in these 3 books.
I'll make sure to put links of your books and your LinkedIn in the article when I send it out.
This is $16,000 code right here, 3 books. So I republished the books this year because I shifted from personal coaching per se to doing more corporate training and more speaking. And then we have something coming up in a couple of weeks. But that's like, this is the code, right? Like this is all I talk about is what I say all the time and everything that I do. Now, that was a shameless plug. When it comes to self-trust, Self-trust is you committing to doing something and then doing it. Because if you're lying to yourself, you don't believe yourself. So self-trust is if I say I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna work out, I'm not gonna see how I feel about it. I'm gonna do it because I said it. That's what military people do. Military
Yes.
people, we do it whether or not we want to because we said we would. But we don't be like how I feel. How you feel has nothing to do with you made a commitment. You got to show up. And so the
It don't
challenge
matter.
at high achievement, huh?
It don't matter what's going on outside.
Oh
Okay,
no,
if
no.
it's not
We said we're gonna do it. And we don't even follow up. If me and Margaret say we're gonna be there at Panera Bread on March 6th at 2 o'clock in the daytime and we set a location, we gonna show up on March 6th. We ain't gonna follow up. We're not gonna check in to see if you still feel like it. We're not gonna check in and still say if we own. The only way we're not gonna be on is if one of us said it's not on anymore. We show up. The military people, we're a little crazy. We're different when we get out here in the civilian streets. And we see the people don't operate like that. You know what? You lying about face. But anyway, so self-trust is you caring about yourself as much as you care about other people. I think that's the best way. It's like I was thinking yesterday, high achievers and leaders, we give the best advice. We don't take none of it. Hey, if we took the advice we gave other people, we'll live the best life ever. I mean, we get the best advice. We read the books to tell other people what to do. We go to conferences and we ain't listening to the conference people. We wondering who should be here to listen to this, right? And how I can use this information. Ooh, this would be good for Helen. This would be good for Tony. This would be good for Jim. And we texting and tweeting and trying to show the world we in the room. Hey man, how about you? How about it's
Amen.
time for you to eat? It's time for you to eat. Stop feeding, right? Stop feeding and eat for a season. Then you can trust yourself because you're actually, self-care is a learned skill for us. We don't know how to take care of ourselves. So once you learn how to take care of yourself, then you'll be a little bit more discerning about, oh, I had this picture in my book of this bird, this mama bird who had like the worm and all the ribs were showing and they feeding a bunch of fat kids, right? Like I was that bird. Like I'm giving away everything and I'm not eating anything for myself. I was gonna be depleted and burn out and lose everything because there's no way I could sustain proving people wrong, working 80 hours a week, fighting everybody, and taking care of the people at the level of care that I took care of them. 106 people in my office, 90 people outside of my office. So when we talk about, me being a 13th Black woman to make commander, the people who are in the Coast Guard now don't see nothing of that because we have so many Black women commanders now. But they were my mentees. So it's like it means nothing. It's because I passed the baton and so I'm done. And made sure that I set them up that when they got to where I was, that they didn't collapse like I did. But here's the thing. Had I taken the advice that I gave them, I wouldn't have burned out. I gave them advice and encouraged them to slow down and date and have kids. I couldn't save myself. So how am I saving hundreds of people and I couldn't save myself?
Mm,
Right? That's the
right.
problem. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Put your oxygen mask on and let everybody take care of themselves.
2026. There it is. This has been truly an outstanding conversation. I'm glad that you was able to take time out of your busy schedule to meet. And I know you're not on Substack, and this has been a very, very powerful message. I'll make sure to give them the links to your books as well as your contact for LinkedIn,
Yeah.
because we have people here that also try to get clients on LinkedIn as well. Okay. And so it's always good for us not to put all of our eggs in one basket. I think. Anyways.
Well, I mean, I think that hold on, where you at? Hold on.
Me? Okay, no problem.
I'm trying to I clicked on the people. I can't get off of it. Can you see me though?
Uh we can see you and we can hear you.
Okay, good. So I think that
Oh,
here I go.
there we go. Yes.
I think that for me, I mean, I'll try stuff. It's just so much. It's just so much. It's
I
too
know.
much.
I know.
Technology, like I can't be everywhere. And if most of my clients are on LinkedIn, I have to go where my money at. But it doesn't mean that you can't be on Substack and make money, right? And it ain't about the money, it's about the exchange of my time, right? Like I'm past the service stage. This right here is service. you know. I'm very intentional with my time. And anytime that I show up, I wanna add value, but I can't energetically show up in 5 different places and expect to be sane. That's not sustainability. That's not gonna bring me joy.
And so therefore we have to pick and choose based on our our passion, what we're passionate about, our time and all of these things. And I'm
Yep.
learning these things, We have to, it's better to come from a position of strength than a position of weakness and getting all of our nutrients and rest and the things so we can show up as our best selves.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I don't see that anyone have any questions. And I'm going to thank you for your time. And hopefully our paths will cross again. And
All right, Margaret,
thanks so much.
forgive your parents, for they know not what they do.
You're
That
right.
that will set you free. All your money will beat you in the head right after that. I mean, like mountains and waterfalls of money. God will redeem the time, right? He has blessings that are stored up for you, but to access them, you have to vibrationally align with what's waiting for you. And how do you align faster with what's waiting for you? You forgive.
Absolutely. And this is a very, very positive message. And thank you again. I really
Bye,
appreciate you. We'll be in touch.
bye y'all.
Yes. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. Bye.